let's talk about the roping right off. There's a lot I want to cover with you, Clay, but how many teams was the fall roping, the Clay Logan, up from this last fall again to
I want to say it was a little over. I think it was over 600, 600 or 700 right there.
600 or 700
Yeah.
teams?
We had ended up with 2,540 teams total at this roping this time, and which was well above our expectations. I mean, we did a few extra things. We added more money. We did a few different things, but we were quite excited. I mean, let's put it that way. We had some ropings that paid $80,000. Open paid $70,000. I mean, it was big money for people to get to come rope for, and we're happy that it worked out pretty good for them.
Do you know how much total, or an idea of like total what it paid out?
We paid out just under $1.5 million, just under, which is. Yeah, I think we were just over $1 million last time, and so I mean it was a big jump. So we were, and we got to take a lot of this is Shane Boston for one thing. Shane's if it wasn't for Shane, this roping probably wouldn't have grown as good as it does, because he gets in there and he's like, no, let's get more added money. Let's do this. Let's raise our fees. Let's make people want to make this a destination roping for them.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like not only is team count up, but the fees, like what you guys are roping for, what's added, everything's kind of raised, like the total money involved. And you and I are kind of talking about this for rolling, but the roping, as far as like payout wise, I think like once you remove like the finale from the equation, this is kind of one of the top tier events all year long. And, you guys do it twice a year, and just to get it to that stage is pretty wild to think. There's a lot of ropings in this area, and to kind of get something going like this has been pretty awesome to watch and be involved with.
Yeah, John Fulmer actually said he's like, I won like 8th to one of these ropings, and he said I won $6,700. That would be more than I would have won if I'd won a World Series roping.
Yeah,
and I won 8th.
Yeah,
and that was so. It's good. The payout goes down through there. Good for them guys. They can do really good that way. So
yeah, and I think that's important. Like even with the open, we're talking like the open structure is pick one, draw one, and then you can enter a third time.
Right.
Pick. And it kind of allows guys that are up and comers to get a chance to draw at some of the top tier guys as well.
Right.
And then what's really neat is the ropings aren't stacked with the payouts to the front. It pays deep, pays eight money.
I think we paid 8 monies in the open this time, and it paid good. I mean, I think those guys everybody seems to be happy with it. We haven't had much anybody thinking we're top loading it and not paying down through their good. So
right. Well, let's go back on this, because let's talk about the first open roping that you did, and then kind of where did the idea come from as far as having an open pot at your house? And
well, the first opener, let's back up. I used to always have a yearly roping at my house in August. Well, and it was a good time, and my son might come up by the time we got done, and it was just kind of it filled its spot, but it was kind of fun. That's kind of where it all started. And then when that kind of ended, Shane's like, hey, let's have a roping at your house. I want to have an opener open. I want to add $25,000 to it. He said, I'll get the money, blah, blah, blah. So I said, we advertised it, and we had the roping, and it was a beautiful day that day. And like the ground was good. Ricky Parnell had bought, the cattle were like, it was just a really perfect type day, because the cattle were so even, and the roping was tough, but it was like, it was real close. And I'm pretty sure Cody Snow and Wesley Thorpe won the roping that day.
Yeah.
But my house was like, we have like 15 acres right there in the front, and like our pastures, there was no place to park with all the rigs and everything. It was pretty wild that we outgrew my own place the first year that we did it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the next year you decide to add a second rope into it, and just
right.
The number 12, right?
Number 12 roping, yep.
That was like 500 a man, and then
it was also during so this is when COVID hit, and so we had to reschedule because of COVID, and backed up a couple months, and then we went to Stephenville to the roping.
Yep.
And like I told you, I'd had a wreck the day before, so I honestly couldn't even tell you who won the roping, which sounds terrible to say because I was pretty out of it. But
right.
The roping that day, the number 12 roping turned into like 400 teams or some crazy. I mean, nobody expected something like that, but it was people had been home from COVID, hadn't got to go anywhere, and it just was turned into huge roping. Yeah.
Right. I remember just hearing that, like the parking, like the facility you're at then, couldn't even handle the parking.
No, couldn't handle the parking.
And then it's like open behind that, and it goes all day, right? So at this stage, we've had two successful,
right?
And we're like, where does like what's the mindset on take? Because I mean, I think you got enough. Like saying, hey, maybe we ought to just try like a full weekend of it, or like, and you know, Shane's probably big picture with this, but like you guys kind of got something here, and then you know, so kind of take me through that as far as
so the next time we went to Hamilton and Josh and Jonathan helped us put that on, and it all went good. I mean, the numbers got bigger. We learned a lot. We kind of learned some to dos and some not to dos, which is good. I mean, that's all part of hopefully getting better at putting these on. And we got through Hamilton, and it was good. And then it was a big stepping stone. Let's put it that, because we added some ropings and kind of did some stuff that was different, and still got a good added money. And the other part of Shane's been big on like getting the cattle, you know, good cattle. And if we can keep good cattle, that's been a real big goal for us. Because I know, and everyone knows, if you get somewhere and people get pretty sour about the cattle, it's kind of hard to take when you're open for a lot of money and you don't feel like you have a very good chance.
Yeah. And I think that's something, you know, in the open I really appreciate. I'm pretty big on is setting the barrier right, where you just can't really get drawn out of the roping. You know, like it's just a steer that takes you way out. So staying on top of the cattle, but also with the barriers, like, you know, if you do have a stronger steer, like if you make a great run, you can kind of stay in the rope. And if you got an idea what's going to win. So I think that's really important. And you got to, but that's a line you got to ride and kind of know what to set it at, because if you get it too short, then the roping doesn't rope at all like you want it to, you know.
We've kept the rope, we've kept the barrier about 2 foot under on every rope. Most of them ropings, like 17-foot box, 15-foot score. And, like this year, our cattle in the first round, we had more teams than we thought we were going to get. They were a little soft in the first round, so we made a few adjustments. And the first round was pretty fast. And then we got a different set of cattle. We kind of got them through there and got it cleaned up a little bit more. And James Watson did a great job. I mean, he did a great job all weekend. His people, and sorted the cattle good, and takes a lot of pride in what he's doing. And happy to have him. Of course, we got Brookbeard and Flagon. Of course, been a long time friend. He's been to every roping. I mean, from my house to everyone that we've had, and glad to have Brooke there. And I think one thing about having somebody like Brooke is I think people respect him, and so there's not a lot of backlash if there's somebody, you know, he's fair. If he thinks they need a rerun, he'll do it. And speaking about off the subject, to throw this out there, so you put the scoreboard up there, sure. Yeah. Which was an outstanding idea. I thought it was great. I thought a lot of people liked it, but I do really think it did help our flaggers too.
Oh, really?
Because there were some spots that like they'd watch the run, then you'd watch them turn around and look and say, okay, did that steer do something? Was there something worth giving a rerun, or was there something happen? And it kind of looked to me like it gave them a little peace of mind that they had enough time to look up there and see if they thought if they were on the fence whether they're right or wrong or whatever. I think it was a really good addition. I mean, I think it was a quality no different than, I can't say it would be like instant replay, but it was dang sure something to reassure in their mind they thought they made the right call. Yeah, and I think that's tough too, because like, when you look at it from the flagger's perspective, is you've got so much going on at once. It's like, hey, how do we judge it? Like, I mean, if there's a steer that might step left, well, where's the header at on the start? Where's the heeler at? Like, what does this look like? And it's just like, there's so many variables, and if your eye is in the wrong spot for that particular thing that affected the run, it's like, well, is it the team or was it the steer? And, you know, I think it's a tough job. And so if there's things like that can help it out, it's awesome. But man, I think I think the scoreboard is a great addition. I think a lot of people like to watch yourself rope and see how it all went down. And I thought it was a great addition. I thought you guys did a great job putting it up. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we're excited. It's been kind of something new for us with the screen, and so we just were like, hey, how can we help make these ropings have that bigger feel,
that extra feel. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of it does make it feel like a bigger production. Yeah. When you look up and see that.
No, that's awesome.
And for our sponsors also, you can run their ads up there, and it gets a little bit more. They're getting more out of it. They can see themselves. They're getting to the public's eye, and we have to have those people to help us get our added money.
Right. No, I love that. Okay, so this roping's grown. You know, we've got the one in Hamilton, and then it seemed like at 377, it just, bam.
Yep.
That's when it was like, I felt like a switch flipped, and this became.
And it ran, and the arenas, and the ropings there run great. I mean, they're, Mr. Gibbs T and them, they've set up a great arena over there. like you can go one arena, next arena, right around, and it runs really fast. And they've got it set up really, really good to roper friendly for sure.
Yeah, you can roll through a lot of teams. Both arenas have good feel. They're very consistent. I think that's been a huge deal. Right with that, like bringing in James to help with the production side of it and the cattle side of it. How important has that been as far as like just taking the extra step to all this? Because I know
James does this. He puts on ropings for a living too. On top of that, but he's real particular about the cattle situation. He wants people to be happy, and it's not always going to be perfect. But if you watch, he's out there working hard at doing it. And Brandy in the office, them girls, I mean, they're just as good as they can be and easy to deal with, and try to be as friendly as they can to everybody. And I mean, we're just happy that they are a part of our roping with us.
Yeah. That's hard because you do get some situations where it's like, man, no one here likes team ropers. There's
just days there's some days that you just have to.
Team ropers are hard to deal with.
Everybody's going to have their moment for a minute, and even yourself, even myself, there'd be a few minutes I might have to go step over there by myself, and say, okay, gather your thoughts a little bit, and make sure and have a little better attitude.
One thing I like about it too is, Clay, you get out in front of this roping a lot. You're doing the interviews after the ropings with winners. You're sitting out there by the flagger watching the roping. What kind of decided that factor is like, hey, just a lot of involvement that way?
Well, when it came up to the fact that I think that we talked about one time about doing some interviews, and they were like, somebody do interviews. I'm like, well, I'd rather do it because I want people to try to put a face with my name or our name, our brand of this roping and everything. And the good, like I said, and I enjoy doing it and watching the roping. I mean, I sit out there and I do watch. When I go back and do the interview, I can say, well, you were a fifth high callback, and you got a good start, you got the steer on the neck, blah, blah, blah. And I try to be able to remember what was, at least what the winners were going to do, and then I can kind of go through the roping to where people do think that we feel like all the ropings are special, all the winners are special.
Yeah.
That those guys we're happy they're there, and we want to give them their due when they win, and that was I think that means a lot to them too.
How hard was it doing the interviews right off? Is that
right off the bat? It's got easier. The first to begin with, there was a lot of what am I going to say here? And but it's got better as we went, for sure. I mean, I feel a lot more comfortable doing it. This year, they had a couple of Hispanic guys that won, and the names, I looked at them, I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to pronounce this? I said I've been practiced, and I did pretty good. So I got the names out right, but I was a little nervous because I was like, my Spanish is not that good.
Yeah, that's the whole dynamic of it's tough. Like, especially when you get on camera, you're like, you start thinking about what you're talking about as you're saying it, and there's a lot of things you kind of got to control the conversation, the flow of the interview. It's a little more complicated than you realize at the beginning of it, and then it does get where it flows. But
everyone's not perfect. Every one of them's not perfect. But you guys do make it a lot easier. Hey, can you show me the run right here? We can go through it, and then it'll kind of help them guys to be able to talk a little bit about what's going on or what they're thinking, and what got them in that position. And that's for other people to be able to win, they might learn something from somebody just right there in an interview. You never know.
Yeah. What about the cattle side of this? I know the prices have just continued to rise and rise. I think this is going to be a lot of stress on producers and ropers too, because it's going to affect payouts and all of that. What do you think this is kind of going to play out
like? The cattle situation's tough. It's really tough right now. I mean, we've already, Shane's already buying steers right now for our roping in the 1st February.
Right.
I mean, we're trying to get ahead of this because it's just, if you don't start, I mean, it's not like it was some years past with this border being closed and a lot of the stuff. There's not a lot of cattle out there, so we really are having to work a lot harder, and we're having to give, them cattle are expensive. So it's a tough situation, but we do know if we don't have good cattle, that's something our deal was built on, and we want to make sure we can really try to make sure we can have quality cattle for these ropings. And James, like I said, James does a good job. He always has some steers too, and he has, he knows kind of what we need, and if in the perfect world, if we knew exactly how many teams, we'd know exactly how many steers we need. This time we were just a few short. We made it work. We'll be prepared for this winter.
Well, yeah, when you get 700 more teams, it's like, hey, that's a lot of runs that we just weren't planning on having, and then also you're just trying to ride the line between enough and and too many. Because I think that's the other deal is once you kind of get roping them, you kind of know how to sort them, and you know how to like put these herds together and kind of get them ready for short rounds and do all that.
Yeah, what people don't realize too. I mean, all these cattle got to be. They're all on full feed before we go. They have to be strong enough to go, and that's expensive. I mean, everybody thinks, well, you're roping for a lot of money, you're doing this. Well, there's a lot of expense going back through all that into the deal too. So,
yeah, that's one thing I've got a soft spot for producers. That's kind of my background.
Well, your family's been doing this for as long as I can remember when I lived in Arizona.
Yeah, that's when I was a kid. That's kind of what so we got every aspect of it, from getting steers ready and it's I think there's so much that goes into it, and just from like breaking them in to having them sorted right to sorting throughout the ropings and doing it and being able to manage it. And now it's like, there's going to be producers in Arizona this winter that are in their cattle a lot, and
it's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, and I think it's just times are going to be. It's just going to be different, I think, for the ropers. I don't know exactly what they're going to experience.
I think the ropers are just going to have to be maybe just a little more patient with the contractors. I mean, they're probably going to do the best they can, and there's not as much product to work with. So
yeah,
hey, it is what it is.
No, I get that. Well, what about the futurity side, Clay? This is kind of neat. I think there's a few things here. You're kind of involved. Like you guys had the futurity that you're a little bit involved with for this event. So kind of talk to me about that with Solo and kind of how that all.
Yeah, we put the Solo Select Futurity on for them 2 days before our roping right there. And Ty and Melanie, they had done an outstanding job with their stallions, and they had took a percentage off of all their breedings, and they had added this money back, and they had $500,000 added to this, or $465,000 or something of that sort. But they paid out, the payout was outstanding. The heading paid $100,000, the heeling paid $100,000, and then it paid out good down through there. And I mean, it's exciting times for the horse business, and we've got Jay's deal, his ARHFA, the World Championships coming up here in a couple weeks, and then we got Ren Richard and them doing the Old West up there, and there's lots of big stuff going with the futurity stuff. It's good for the horse business, and it's great for the horse business.
Yeah,
and horse trainers, and actually those horses can go right through that, and then right up through the ranks of these people that are jackpotting. And you got also people like JD McGuire. Look at them, ex quarter horses. They're doing great. I mean, they've got in there, and they're pushing the same deal, and it's great to see people that were just roped and stuff that are now getting more involved in that kind of that end of it. Hunter and him, and so it's I think everything's good.
Well, and that's been your background, right? Like here,
right? Which I've trained for years, right?
Yeah, trained. So you've kind of been one of the guys. I think what's really neat about this is you've laid a lot of the foundation. I think you got a lot of input on different things, and you've made a huge mark with just the horse training side and trainers and everyone kind of being around you. So that's pretty neat to kind of see this thing it's growing rapidly.
It's growing rapidly. It's great. It's fun to watch, and I'm happy for these guys coming up. They won't probably have to struggle as hard as us older guys did, because there's a lot more money involved in it. When we were doing it, it was a lot tougher, and it was hard to win. We only had 2 or 3 paydays a year compared to now. There's some sure enough, good chances to win a lot of money.
Yeah, and
these horses bring a lot of money.
They're bringing a lot of money. There's more money in them from the beginning. As they're raised, it just seems like no matter what, the full stage of it. And then I think the challenge has been early in this deal was getting these show horses to translate to horses that the public can ride. And I think, and give me your opinion, I think there's a little bit of a struggle because there's so many buttons on these horses and they can do so much.
Yeah, there's a struggle, but I think there's been some change in the judging compared to the AQHA judging. So, which we've worked at doing. Jay's done a lot. I tried to help him with that through this, still have. And then I know that Jeremy, Barwick, and Cole and Jay are all working on a new system that's going to probably, I'm sure it'll come out, I don't want to speak too soon, but I would say around the 1st of December, with maybe an updated type judging system, which I think is outstanding. They've all sat down and getting some stuff worked out, and I think it's a bright time for all that to take place, and everybody get on the same type of judges pool to where they can getting quality judges to do this is a lot. And I think if they can all get on the same page and work together, I think it'd be outstanding. I think that's what's happening too. So.
Yeah, it feels like it's going that direction, and I think that's the big thing is like what translates to good roping, and how can that go to the next level of ropers that want a World Series and maybe those lower numbered guys, but where they can ride these horses.
Well, yeah, now you're seeing them. I mean, look, Cody Snow last year at the NFR, he's riding Billy Diamond. They'd won. How much he'd won the Futurity, he'd won I don't know how much before he'd bought him, and he won almost 100,000 at the NFR, or maybe a little over. And then Hunter was riding a horse also, same type deal, going up to the Futurities, and they were in the bright lights, and they did great. I mean, did real good. And there'll be more of them to come go through this deal. I mean, and even through the years of some of my quarter horse horses that just were quarter horse shown. I mean, seen 5 or 6 or 7 horses that we've had that went through all that went to the NFR. That was, it's fun to watch. It's always fun to watch a horse that you've had do good, and you're always our biggest fan. So,
yeah, I think this is where it's getting neat, and then it's creating more opportunity for the riders to, like these guys that rope real good. That it's kind of hard to find a spot when you're not rodeoing. And
look. I mean, here's Paul. World champion, and then doesn't want to rodeo as much, and now he can stay home, make a living doing this, and still circuit rodeo or whatever he wants to go do, jackpot, and be able to show and be home with his family. I mean, right. I guess he doesn't have anything to prove to anybody about whether he was good enough to be a world champion. He's already got that done.
Yeah.
Now it's just he's going to be able to make a good living and be home with his family and have good values.
I think that's awesome. What about from the training perspective and helping kind of put these younger guys or just people that are wanting to shift over to it? Because I think there's a few riders out there like Joseph, for example, and Cade. He worked underneath you. Can we talk about Cade a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
I think he's one of the top tier horse trainers out there, right? How long did he ride for you and work for you?
Cade worked for me for almost 7.5 years.
7.5 years.
Yep.
And I think this is the thing that kind of gets missed out on is a lot of people just want to step right into it and go to showing and be ready. And I think Joseph worked for Bobby Lewis since he was 10 or 12 years.
Yeah, he was 15, 16 years old. He started working for Bobby, and he showed and went right up through it and has seen a lot and right now is the guy to beat. I mean, it's on paper. Look at him. He's outstanding. Yeah, his horses are good. There's a couple things that Joseph can do that some of these guys can't quite get figured out that he's doing, and he does a very good job with it. Yeah, he's really developed a style that can translate well to high level heeling and put it in, let his horse be in spots that are really flashy. For one thing, he ropes outstanding. Yeah, the second thing, he rides good, and he knows how to help them horses finish and how to get them to finish. Really, his finish is better than anybody else's at the moment. And I think that's this work ethic and this body of work that's gotten put in. And so if you're just if you're given someone's asking for advice from a young kid, hey, I want to get into that higher level. If a young trainer wants to get in there, I was self-taught, and I'm not going to say that's the best thing in the world. I think I could have probably been better at what I did if I would have worked for somebody for a long period of time or some period of time that roped. I mean, I was fortunate enough to work for some really good cutting horse trainers. I don't mean that, but I'm talking about the rope horse deal. And I think if they would just take the time and say, hey, I'm going to take a couple years and go work for somebody, and good, bad, or indifferent, because there's going to be good days, going to be bad days. But if you can open your eyes and not just the riding and not just everything that goes, but there's a lot of business you have to do that goes with everything. You got to keep, and it's hard. You got to try to keep your customers happy. You got to keep yourself happy. You got to keep your family happy, and you still have to produce. And you're not always going to be the winner, and it's that one horse. You might have a great horse, and that horse isn't the luckiest one. I've had some that were great that were just things didn't go their way, and anyways, that's just part of it. That's a bumps and deals of it. Cade's done great, and he'll continue to do great. And I mean, I'm happy to see these guys come up through there. You watch people like Tate that rodeoed, and Tate's doing outstanding, which I think the world of Dakota. He was around us a lot when he was a kid. Happy to see Dakota there. I mean, it's a lot of joy to see those guys go do good that came to our house, and we're off and on there. So
Yeah, I think understanding like a lot of, you'll see like a lot of apprenticeships and things like that
Right.
in business, right? And like, hey, I might not make a lot of money for years. Like even like Cade is probably a good example. He probably doesn't make as much money as what he felt like at some stages, but the education that he builds and the body of work that he has is like,
Right.
now it's like, hey, I got a career because this is what I love to do, and I'm moving forward with it. And I think that's the thing that like I look up to him the most, and have been, I think, is the coolest
Yeah,
thing.
and you know,
is,
when a person, when it's not going your way or you're not winning as much, I mean, lots of times you fluctuate on your horses. You don't, I mean, not that you're doing a good job, you're just not maybe just they're not quite good enough.
yeah,
I mean, and I don't want to put that in anybody's bad taste in their mouth, but it's just the truth. I mean, there's some really great ones, and then, you know, you get some that are, if you can train a good horse to be great, you did a great job.
yeah.
I mean, that's my, if you can make them be above their physical ability, then you've done everything you can possibly do.
And do you think what is the mindset you'd like to have? Like if you say, hey, if you're going to be a horse trainer, and viewing how they're putting them through their program, what do you think makes a great trainer, and the kind of their philosophies there?
Well, you have to, I mean, you've really got to know when to apply pressure and when not to. I mean, there's some times that you might let one do this and you're trying to get along and not trying to have a big deal. And there might be a day that you're like, hey, if I don't fix this right here, it's either we're going to get it fixed or this isn't going to work at all. I mean, it's just, and it's a little bit of feel, and it's partly to do with the horse's age, and remember, you know, every person doesn't have a good day when they're working either. So you got to try to control your emotions if things aren't going very good, and not get mad at a horse over because you're mad at a different situation, and try to. There's just a lot of things that go with it. And I guess with age you probably see it more than you would have younger. I mean, I think some of these younger guys, I think if they would just go stick it out with somebody for a little bit, I think, and with their eyes pretty open, if this is what they really wanted to do, I think they would be a good accomplishment for them.
I agree. You know, you talk about feel, and I think you do hear it like as you get older. It's maybe one you've experienced it more, right? So you can generally they have more feel. But also, do you think it's a mindset thing as far as like if you're not outcome like worried about this horse being this, you're just worried about more or less like riding them that day. And I think that takes a long time to get to that stage.
Yeah,
How do you start like developing feel?
Well, you better have some pride in your work. I mean, because it's going to reflect upon you. And like I said, they're not all going to be great, but if you can make them better than their ability, you've done good.
Yeah.
As far as the field, I've done this long enough that like you kind of know when you can feel when one's starting to come unraveled, and you're like, hey, what am I going to have to do to step back, put all this back together, and try to get through this deal right here of, say, this horse is not scoring the way I want him to. What are we going to do here? I don't want to get in too big of a battle, but I've got to get some control of what's going on here. What's some things that have had happen? And I might even think back and look at something that JDH told me 10 years ago, or I saw Bobby Lewis do 15 years ago, or Robbie Schroeder did this or whatever. And that's like, so I'm realistically doing the same thing I'm trying to preach to these other guys to do. I'm looking back on the people I thought were really good, and I would see something that they did, and I would be like, hey, I bet if I do this, or what if I did this bridle, or what is this horse's bar sore? Do I need to change to a different kind of bridle because Region's not doing this is because of the bridle I have on him right now? Or is this leather tie down better than a rope tie down because he can lean on a little bit, or does it make him come off here? Well, just numerous things that I could go on about that probably sound a little senseless at the moment, but there's a lot to it.
I don't think it sounds senseless at all because you're constantly learning, right? Like you've got to be like studying it. Like,
and I'm not above going and asking Kate for help.
Yeah.
I'm not above going and asking Tate for help. I'm not above going and ask anybody I think that can help me. I don't want to be closed-minded about this. And even though I'm getting older, if you quit looking forward and you quit trying to get better, then you probably need to start trying to find something else to do.
How important is it to have some humility, and then also, Clay, how do you balance humility with like confidence that you can do things.
Oh, trust me, there's days. It's not easy. I mean, you just have to keep dragging yourself right up there and putting yourself in the game the best you can. And there's some times you got to make some good decisions. And if you feel like that I'm better off to put somebody else on one of my horses and me show them, and I need to step off, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and those are hard decisions.
Yeah. And
prideful.
I think that's the thing is you got to be able, like, there's two lines you want to ride. Just confident enough that, hey, I can do it. Because when you get on them, you got to believe in yourself. But also, like, hey, maybe this isn't the best fit, and this might be a better, and like, what's best for the horse?
What's best for the horse and what's best for the customer. Sometimes you need to step up and do what you got to do.
Yeah, I really like that perspective. And then honestly, it's kind of, if you can kind of be thinking about that the same way when you're riding them, that probably is going to translate to helping this horse go maybe from good to great and help them with those, kind of that dynamic there. So Clay, the next thing with like the training process, right? There's a lot of young guys out there. When you're looking for horses, what do you think for you makes great horses? And from like mentally, and I think we got to agree, like physically they got to have a look, right?
Right.
So kind of what's your look that you do like, but then also mentally, and then the feel, like when you start saying, hey, because I know that you've had some really special horses throughout your program. So was there some common things you have there, or what was that like?
I mean, I think you can get on and lope around a little bit, and you can feel whether the horse has some characteristics you like. I mean, the stride or the stop or kind of how they pick themselves up. And I'm a pretty big first impression.
Okay.
Like every time I've talked myself into buying a horse, I've made a mistake. Usually when I get on and I ride one, and that doesn't take me very long, I'm usually in or I'm out. If I hem-haw, seems to me like I usually don't make very good decisions.
Interesting.
I do kind of live a little more by my gut than most people do.
I think that's just being true to yourself.
And then sometimes it doesn't work, but more times than not, it does.
Yeah.
And there'll be some that, I mean, that I've tried to buy a few here in the last little bit that people didn't want to sell, that I thought they were green, and that I could feel something down the road. And luckily I've got to keep them, and they actually have, like, I've been right. They're going to turn into some horses that we'll be seeing in the future for sure.
I like that. So was there any horses that early on that, like, man, this horse taught you a lot, like about what they could do, and just like being a winner and just like, you know what I mean? Like that feel for what they're running.
I had a gelding named Hagen's Play. Actually, he was by Freckles Playboy out of Hagen's Hickory. And I trained that horse. One of the first horses I trained when I came here. He was a great horse. And actually, we sold that horse to York rodeoed on him. And then Cooper Robson ended up at Cooper Robson's at the end of his career. But Hagen was like, I mean, just a great horse. I mean, and a confidence build, big stopper, ran hard. I mean, just full of talent. I mean, you don't see a lot of, you see horses like that, but I used to see more of them than you'd have a chance to go buy. Now there's so many people going through the pool of horses to buy them. You don't see that many like horses that are, you think, super, super talented.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. I was fortunate enough to get some through the years that were really, really good, and he was one of them. So.
Right. And when you talk about characteristics, like the physical talent's there, but to me there's like this mental side, and it was, I don't know if it's willingness or just feel like, hey, like
those horses, they're no different than yourself. They gotta like their job.
Yeah.
You know, when they don't like their job, they're gonna, they're not gonna be at their best. And I've seen like some of these older horses we got, Replay. He's retired, and Shane's grandson, Tyler's boy's got him, Bub. So, anyways, good part about him is he got a good life. I mean, but he gave us his all till he couldn't do it anymore, and then his stifle couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And then we have another horse there at the house that I won a lot on, and the same way they just told the vet yesterday that he was going to be pretty well done, and for the granddaughter to ride, which is good. They still got it. I mean, there's still a place for him to go. So,
yeah. So,
what I'm saying is those good horses gave it all. They're lame now, but they gave it all every time.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. That's what I was trying to get to.
Well, and I think that's the thing is you feel some horses that have it, and they kind of don't like their job, but it's like there's like that line you can kind of maybe, well, can I help them like their job?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've had some that I thought it was all put together, and then it's all unraveled too. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's a perfect world, because we've had some that went a direction, and I have no idea how it happened that way, but it did, and so.
Yeah. And I think there's horses too, like, to me, I feel some that maybe don't have as much talented. Now, mine's just strictly from the roping side. I've never shown. It's never been something that I'm like looking for, like the showier type. But it's like I get on this horse and it's like, man, I feel like I can win. I always end up in good spots. This horse is like way less talented than maybe the next one in my pen. And I'm just like, wow, this is...
Well, it's kind of like, have you ever noticed when you go somewhere and you're in a good mood, you do good?
Yeah.
Whenever you go somewhere and then you're like, did I really want to be here? Did I really want to go to the lake or whatever? It doesn't seem to go very good. It's kind of part of your disposition and your attitude about whether or not you're wanting to be 100% at what you're doing.
Yeah.
And there's days I have to catch myself that, like, because you can get in a grind of riding these things, and it can be overwhelming at times, and you have to like gather yourself up and remember why you're doing this. And the reason that you are doing it, and because you do like it, and you made a living, but you've got to you need to have a good attitude too when you're out there.
Was there a time when you like really figured out, hey, I love this and this is what I want to do for a living? I
mean, I got to feel like I'm very blessed. I mean, I've been able to do this for, I've been at my own place for 25 years, and we're still going. I mean, I'm getting some age on me, but we're still going, And
vet hadn't said we can't stop yet.
I don't think I'd pass a vet check, but maybe a little Previcox might get me through the day or something.
Yeah, but we're not passing the vet check. We still get the job done.
I do. Trust me, I do have to have probably a pitch count how many I can run a day. That's what I was telling Cody Snow yesterday. I was talking to him about needing to hire some more help, and I said, look, I can't run 150 steers a day anymore. I mean, I just can't do it. I can run, I can run 75. I can run maybe 80. I get to 100, and I'm going to feel it pretty good when I get home.
Yeah. Well, Clay, this is what I think is so cool about you, though, is you've made a career doing what you love. And that's kind of been one of the things we've always tried to dive into a little bit with the podcast, is like, hey, helping people like find it, like, hey, they're truly passionate and this is something they can do for a living. But also you see people that they're really good at it, really, really good at it. But at some point they're not supposed to be doing it, you know? And I think that's like...
Well, you see some people that'll start and they'll be gung-ho for a couple of years, and then like, it got tough. Well, it's tough.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh, I think I'm going to do something different. And I get it. It's not for everybody. I mean, I've been fortunate to have good guys through the years. I mean, Clint Johnson was great, and then of course Cade, and then Garrett Summer, and now we have Tyler Mannion. I mean, and Kirby's been in and out. I mean, I've had some really good people. Those are the that stayed the longest. Yeah. And they all have that grit to go ahead and not give up. I mean, like, I'm going to do this. Now Clint, he changed a different direction, but he changed a different direction, but not the attitude. He took it to his new job the same way he had this job,
Well, and I think that's that winning mentality, because you can take this work ethic, because that's something you guys really, I mean, that's one thing. You guys work hard.
There'll be a day that I'm going to have to do something different, and I don't know, when that comes about. We'll figure that out. But I mean, whatever I'd go and do, I'm going to have to try to do at a high level, or I'm not going to be successful.
Yeah.
Or attempt to do it at a high level, let's put it that way.
Well, and I think that's the mindset, right? That you've learned from years of work, and that's part of this,
And that was a lot of why Shane, and with these ropings, we wanted to start doing something to where down the road a person could slow down and have something to fall back on, and have a couple of ropings a year that would help our income and keep going forward. So.
Well, yeah, and be in the industry,
and still do what I like to do, and still be around the people I want to be around.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I think this one of the reasons why this roping is so successful is how well you're respected. Shane, I think everyone thinks a lot of you guys, and so like, one, you see a lot of people that normally ain't at some jackpots, and I think that they kind of like to just
support us for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge compliment to what you've done, but also then you deliver on top of it too. You put together a roping that does pay good, that has, you guys do your best on the cattle, everything's set up so well. And I think that's what's really, really special about this event, is it's just the spirit of it is a really high level. So my hat's off on
Well,
that
we
one.
appreciate that. And but like I said, you guys, we appreciate y'all. You've been with us really since the get-go. So actually, well, before that. So
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many years now, probably close to 12, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's about 12.
It's about 12. First time I think you came to the house. It's been about 12 years ago.
Yeah. There's just a couple people there that gave me a chance to, when I had the idea of what I wanted to do with X Factor. Obviously you were one of them. And I think it was like the second or third video shoot, or maybe even first with you. I can't remember, but it's like you, Trey Johnson, and Tyler Wade, and Justin Davis is in there too. But those were kind of our first few guys that we did some stuff with. And it's like, man, I had no idea what I was doing, but you were,
We didn't either.
So it's awesome that you'd at least give me a chance.
No, it's outstanding. Like I said, we're just happy to be going forward and happy that people are coming to our opens, and hopefully we'll continue to be able to do a good job for them.
I love it. I'm going to let you go here in just a second. I do have a couple more questions. One, I wanted to say, you did throw me on replay at one time, and that was pretty fun to heal a couple on replay. And I remember it like it was yesterday, because I just remember feeling the foot speed and his ability to get into a stop, and just like it was unbelievable, right?
Yeah, he could be so laid back, and then could be so physical, and then as soon as it's over, he could be just right back to being laid back.
Yeah, I've never felt it since then.
He's a special horse for sure.
From horses that you have not rode or been through your program, let's go head horses and heel horses.
Haven't been?
Yeah, that you like, hey, that you love, and you think are super special horses that you've watched throughout your career. I've kind of been asking this question a little bit on the podcast. If it's even stuff that you would like to ride, or even stuff that you just think, man, that horse was super special. If you just throughout any generation.
I mean, I could go. I mean, I don't know.
You can give me a top couple that pop up, but I just was thinking like, hey, horses that you really love what they were about and what they did.
Man, there was just so many. I mean, JD had all the old horses that were so good. They rodeoed on forever. And there's all related. That was pretty amazing. That for years stacked. They did so good on those horses that he had up there. Pac-Man and all them. They were great. And I mean, of course, Walt. How could Walt not be like one of your all-time favorite horses? Scooter.
Yep.
Iceman. He was that was a long time ago, but he was Corey's horse was outstanding. And I mean, I could go on and on. Some of these younger horses coming up. I mean, Cage Yellow horse was great. There's just been so many. I mean, it kind of threw me off guard there to even think which ones.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a wild question. Just kind of like me thinking about it. It's like, well, here's some, and then usually how it lands. I always go with this conversation as someone will ask me, and it's like, well, the ones that make the big impression usually jump out to me as like some of my favorites. Like I really like Scooter. Turtle Powell's Gray.
Oh yeah, he was great.
I was kind of competing around him a little bit too, and I could watch.
Well,
that
you get
horse.
To watch him all the time,
and yeah, that's like when it's like, wow,
you see how good they really are.
Yeah, but then you get bringing up some horses, and I'm like, man, I forgot about that one. And that one.
They're just. I mean, you think about every year. There's Clint Summers' horse is great right now.
Yeah.
So the other day at the roping, I mean, we were going to pick the best head horse and heel horse. So I mean, there was 3 or 4 head horses we could have picked real easy, but I mean, Clay Smith came back 3 times, top 8. Yep. I mean, how can you? It was hard to take that away. But I mean, Clint's horse is in there. I mean, Caleb's horse was outstanding, and he went down there and won again the next week. I mean, there was just so many good head horses right there, and the heel horses. It was Wesley won, but there was some other heel horses there that had a good chance, but they weren't towards the end of the money, and so it's hard to get through the whole rope and then pick through there. So
yeah, that was always the one for me, like.
We got to go back up. Transmission probably is one of my favorites because a little piece for art because we had him as his 4-year-old year.
Oh, you did?
We not all of it, but we had ran it and sent him to me, and we rode him for a while. And I didn't have anything to ride at Pecos, so I loaded him up at Pecos to the rodeo, and I took him as a 4-year-old because I knew the steers were walking fresh.
Yeah.
And me and Blake Elms would come back, and we were I think we placed in both rounds in 1/3. And Randon called me. He's like, "Do you ride transmission over there at Pecos?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "All right, well, he's ready to go." So that was the last time I ever got to ride him. but I got put his first PRC earnings on him. So
that's awesome.
He was one of my favorites, and he scores to this day like he did when he was 4 years old.
Well, I remember talking to Brock Hansen about it, and he had roped on him and just kind of went at some, and he communicated to me. He's like, "Hey, I know he's a big horse, but his feet move
Yeah,
fast.
his feet move
And
really
he's like-
fast.
you can feel like you can go fast on him, and then like Jason and Randon, I believe they roped together and they'd won Salinas on him, right? Does that sound?
I don't know about that.
I can't remember, but I think that horse had done well at like the bigger long score stuff.
Right.
And anyways, that sucker, I kind of thought, man, hey, he's pretty.
He's been around a while because he's 21 maybe.
Yeah, he's
Something like that.
Yeah,
21 or 2, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, and still at a high level. I'm sure we'll probably see him at the NFR again. I would assume he would
yeah,
probably be riding him.
Yeah,
If he's not there, he'll be there. We know that for sure.
yeah. I think so. I think there's just a ton of talent out there. That's what's crazy about the horse side of it. And even like right now, I'm thinking like, what are these top heel horses kind of around going, and just seeing some like through Patrick's program and even Logan's horse, and you just
Right.
like, wow, it's been pretty special to watch.
No, there's and the roping is so, these guys rope so good. The open ropers rope so good. It's like, you get to go watch them go 3 times, and it's pretty amazing how good they are.
Yeah, you get.
And the up and coming, I mean, I want to say there's this up and coming bunch of young kids that rope. You know, they're so exceptional. I mean, Tyler Tryon, Nicky. I mean,
It's coming on pretty fast.
Catch
Yeah.
Kelton. Go right on down the list of them. I mean, them boy, they are really, really good.
Yeah, it's kind of my first like experience with it. You know, I kind of come in and start rodeoing, and you kind of see some guys like retire as like, you know, Jake and Clay were still roping when I was starting going to some rodeos, and now like not a lot of kids have probably ever seen Clay heel a lot of steers competitively at the rodeos.
Right.
And I mean, I think my first year, maybe my permit year, we were at Ogden, and he had roped like 3 legs all year long. I don't think he had missed a steer.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, you're starting to like see those guys, they've phased out, and even the guys that I was kind of with, some of them have stopped, and then seeing younger kids kind of come on is pretty. I'm a lot older than, and you're like, wow, it's pretty impressive. So, well, Clay, I appreciate you coming on today.
Well, thank you guys. We appreciate y'all for everything you do for us.
Yeah, no, you as well. Like I said, there'd probably be no X Factor, you know, without you giving me a chance.
No,
right
about
there.
that. We're just thrilled you guys to come and do our opens and help us along with all of our stuff. We really appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to the next one, and
We'll see y'all, I think, January 30th, 31st, February 1st at 377 Arena.
It's on the books.
It's on the books.
Thanks, Clay.
All right, thank you.